Welcome back to the Basement Vibes podcast, everybody. I hope everyone is having an absolutely wonderful day. Today is I want to say it's episode 23, 24. We're getting in the mid 20s. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, pretty much I know a lot has kind of been changing. A lot of episodes have been kind of janky lately. So I just want to take a quick second to apologize about that. Timing and stuff has not been on my side lately, but that does not matter because the next thing is that these episodes are going to start moving to Mondays just because I think that will be a little bit better. That way we'll have our store Sunday and then we can have our Basement Vibes Mondays. That way it's a great way to start the week, all that good stuff. And it gives me kind of the whole weekend to make sure episodes are fully planned and, make sure everything runs a little bit smoother because I know lately things have not been running smoothly. But, that's not what we're here for. We're not doing another update. We obviously don't have anyone else here with me today because today we're going to be talking about the World Cup. I'm super excited for the World Cup. I am one of the biggest, I guess, soccer football fans that I know of. So, whenever the World Cup rolls around, I'm always in a good mood. So, since that's coming around, you guys are going to be seeing a lot of kind of just World Cup soccer content in general, whether it's on this channel or on my main channel. So, if you're a soccer fan, have a great time and, sit around and enjoy because it's going to be a good time. If you're not a soccer fan, I am sorry for you because realistically, I don't care. But for the people who are watching on YouTube, I am wearing the Belgium pre-match jersey. I think this thing is super cool. You will be seeing this a lot. I'm sorry, this is going to be like my new jersey for a while. So if you guys see me wearing the same shirt in like videos or podcasts and stuff, just know it's not filmed in one day. I just really like this thing, so I've just been wearing it, washing it, wearing it, washing it. Not like I wear it for a day, wash it, but it goes into the laundry. I'm not just recording everything that I've been doing in the span of a day. So just for the people who are curious, that is why. But to be what we are talking about today, because like I said, the World Cup is here. So there's a lot. There is a lot going on, and I am very, very, very excited. I'm pretty much just today going to be going through my predictions for the World Cup. I'm going to be making an actual predictions video, so that will be coming out probably Sunday. Not yesterday for you guys, but next Sunday. So that way it comes out when the World Cup comes out, all that good stuff. Either way, I'm super excited. The World Cup is going to be absolutely amazing this year. I think this year we could have the most talented / most entertaining World Cup ever. I mean, realistically, we've got Messi, Ronaldo, Muller, Ochoa, and 4 other players, and possibly Neymar's. I don't think this will be Neymar's last World Cup, but I think it's going to be Messi's, and I think it's going to be Ronaldo's. So I think it's just, we've got a lot of stuff going on with the World Cup, and I'm super excited to talk about all of it and literally everything about it. I do want to touch on the whole thing with the workers. It was super fucked up, let's all be honest. It was just not the right way to do it. You think that if you're going to be putting so much money into the World Cup that they would at least pay their people to do it. But I guess not. Guess the world is not fair, which fucking sucks. But I don't want to talk about the negatives today. I want to talk about how fun the World Cup is going to be because I think it's going to be amazing. I will be waking up at 8 a.m. every single day to be watching all of these games because, there's a lot. There's a lot of really good games. I actually even have a list of all the important games that I'm going to be watching. I don't know if I finished it, but obviously for Group A, the Netherlands versus Senegal game, which will come out the next week. That is going to be on the 21st. That game's going to be amazing. I think Netherlands are going to have they're going to do so good. Group B, that's the US, England, Wales group. So I feel like I'm going to be watching every single game just because those are all going to be so entertaining, and you never know. It looks like the US could actually have a decent year this year. I don't think we're going to go very far. I think we'll make it past the group stage, but I don't see us making it past the first round just because the level of teams this year is almost unreal. Like I don't know if we've seen teams that are on this level in a while. So, I'm super excited for that. Group C, arguably not the worst group, but for me, the group I don't really want to watch. I mean, it's got Argentina. I like Poland, but I don't want to watch it just because I don't think Mexico's going to make it in. I realistically don't see Mexico doing better than Poland this year. Argentina is, I'm pretty sure they're the crown favorites, or at least the top 5 favorites. So, obviously, Argentina is going to go through. Then we've got Group D, the France and Denmark. That game is going to be amazing. Eriksen's back. Hopefully he stays, okay. Don't want to have another scare. France is going to be a fucking powerhouse because, well, it's France. Then Group E, this is the group of death. Without a doubt, the group of death is without a doubt Group E. You've got Germany, Japan, Spain, and Costa Rica. Obviously, Germany and Spain should walk through this. Japan's not doing terrible. Costa Rica might have some shocks. You never really know. Group F, we've got Belgium. That's going to be, I'm watching every Belgium game regardless. And then Group F is going to be very entertaining just because it's Portugal, Uruguay. It's the last one. Uruguay. There's one more team that is actually good there because it's Morocco and one more. I don't know, but either way, today we're gonna actually, now that I've kind of done the whole basis of what we're gonna be talking about today, I want to go through, and we are gonna go through by World Cup positions and who I think what team has the best in those positions. So we're gonna go over the goalkeepers, the center back duos, the right and left back duos, the midfielders, left wing / left mid. Then we've got right wing, right mid, center forward, striker, and then overall my top 10 teams. So, without further ado, let's get into this. So, obviously we're going to start with goalkeepers. I was a goalkeeper my entire life, so I feel like I have a decent grasp on who I think is each team has the better and who has the worst for these. But, as always, you guys know, let me down in the comments or whatever below, or tweet at me what you guys think your top 5 for all of these positions are. So, let's get right into this. At goalkeepers, at number 5, obviously, I feel like he could go a little bit higher, but I'm going to go with France and Hugo Lloris. He is an absolutely outstanding goalkeeper. I think he is, honestly, one of the best French goalkeepers we've seen in a long time. Obviously, he's super quick, super smart. He's just one of those players that you would love to have on your team. But I am putting France at the number 5 spot just because when it comes to goalkeepers, there's a lot of countries that honestly just have better goalkeepers. Simple as that. Next, we're going to go with 4 in Switzerland as Sommer. I think a lot of people would be very shocked that I would put Sommer above Hugo Lloris, but I think people are failing to realize that Sommer is an absolutely amazing goalkeeper, and with that team, they could be not like a super contender, but they could be an actual decent team this year. Obviously, Denmark is one of those teams where they don't really have any stars, but they do have a lot of solid players. So, regardless of all those, I'm putting Sommer above Hugo Lloris. Next, we've got number 3. This one, these next 3, I don't think will be a surprise to anyone maybe the order I could understand, but as far as just overall, not going to be too shocked. Number 3, I have Germany. I was really tempted to honestly put them at number 2, but that is strictly because they've got Neuer, Ter Stegen, and Trapp. Like, when it comes to a goalkeeping team, they've got the most depth, without a doubt. I mean, you can put any 3 of them out there, and you know you're going to have a solid goalkeeper. You're not going to have to worry. So, in my head, I would honestly put Germany at number 3, but that is because in number 2, I'm going to be putting Belgium. That is not a personal bias or anything. You just have to look at Courtois and just realize how insane this man really is. I know in the club lately he hasn't been doing anything like drastic for Madrid, but he is an unreal keeper, and he proved that last World Cup. So, in my head, I'm putting Belgium at number 2, and then in first place, I don't think anyone is shocked here. Arguably has the 2 best goalkeepers maybe in the world right now. Honestly, they have the best goalkeeper, I would probably say, in the world right now, and then a top 5 goalkeeper right behind him. We've got Alisson and Anderson. Honestly, both of those are 2 amazing goalkeepers. As good as Neuer and Ter Stegen is, I'm not going to lie, these 2 are just on a different level at this point in time. So, I mean, Brazil at number 1, I don't think that's very shocking. So, we got Brazil at number 1, Belgium at number 2, Germany at number 3, Switzerland at number 4, France at number 5, 4 goalkeepers with, I have 2 honorable mentions, as in Spain and Denmark, as Schmeichel. And for Spain, it was De Gea. That's why I made this originally, because I was going to put De Gea on here. But I found out that De Gea is actually not going to be going to the World Cup this year. So, I've got a little issue with trying to, even put them on that honorable mention list anymore. Not that De Gea is amazing, let's be honest. In World Cups, he's got a history of not being so amazing. But yeah, so I'm going those as mine. I'm going to put Denmark at that number 6. And Spain at number 7. Next, we are going to go into our center backs. Obviously, this is just going to be the center back duo. So this is for the teams that have the 2 center backs. They're not running like a 3 because, I could, but I didn't decide to do that. But at this, we've got our number 5 spot. This one, I don't know. But when it came to center backs, it was really, really hard for me to choose just because, a lot of these teams have got some real dangerous teams this year. Like, let's be honest, every team has got a chance this year. But let's start with number 5 for center back duos. I put France. We've got Varane and Kimpembe. I can never say his name. I'm sorry. Both of those 2, absolutely amazing. Top tier. Realistically, you've got one of the 2 best center backs in their respective leagues. I cannot say in the world. But obviously 2 absolutely amazing players. I think they're going to be an insane combo. I don't see a whole lot of people trying to get past that. And France has got a solid backline. I think people are failing to realize that France's backline, they're not like the top 3. Like, they're not going to be in that kind of different debate, but they are there. They are a mid-level team in their backfield, and their strike force is a high-level attack force. So, as far as just like center backs go, I feel like it's being very fair to put France at number 5 with using Varane and Kimpembe. Next, we've got number 4. I think that, to me, this makes sense. I could arguably maybe even put them a little bit higher, but I think 4 is a very fair spot, and that is Portugal with Diaz and Pepe. Diaz at this moment in time has become one of the best defenders in the Premier League, and Pepe is just, he's a he's a veteran. He's been to the World Cup. He knows what he's doing. He's not going to like worry about anything. And, you know, like I said, he's done this all before. And honestly, I'm excited for it. So as Diaz and Pepe, I'm putting them at the number 4 spot because I feel like that's fair. I feel like putting them above France is not a crazy thing to say with that kind of duo. Next, I've got number 3. This one I don't think will be a shock to anyone, and that's once again Germany coming in with a strong backline as Rudiger and Sol. I mean, when you look at both of those players individually, insane. When you put them together, absolutely insane. And then putting them with the way that just Germany works as a team, they're going to be unstoppable. Like, there is a reason why I could see Germany go all the way this year. I don't know if they will by any means, but Germany has the players to do it. If they choose to, if everything goes like solid, Germany I don't think would shock anyone if they go to the World Cup and just win. Just because when you look at them from bottom to top, they are so stacked. And with the new rule of having 5 subs, with having such a depth team like that, they have so many solid weapons, and I'm excited. But we keep going. We got number 2 in Brazil. Obviously, Brazil's got one of the most insane teams this year, but their backline with Marquinhos and Eder, I mean, those two are absolutely insane. And then you being able to throw Thiago on top of that. Honestly, Brazil is looking solid this year. I'm excited for them. With that back line, I mean, it's arguably one of the best back lines that you can have at this moment in time just because the consistency is there. The chemistry is way just when it comes to Brazil and chemistry, it's like it's just in their blood. So, Brazil at number 2 with Marquinhos, Thiago, and Eder. I feel like it's not too shocking at all. So number 2 spot. Then number 1, I don't think this is a shock to literally anyone, and that is going to be Netherlands with Van Dijk and De Ligt. I mean, Van Dijk is the best center back in the world right now. Arguably one of the in this moment in time, I think Van Dijk could stop 99% of football players. Like, in general, 99% of the time, I think Van Dijk can, like, put the clamps on, and then being able to have a second pairing with him in De Ligt, what more do you want? Like, you've got speed, you've got power, you've got length, like, those two are going to make Netherlands so terrifying, and I don't think people are going to realize how terrifying it is to face Netherlands until you get to that back line and realize, like, we can't get past this. And then them being able to counterattack, I think the Netherlands are like a dark horse this year. And yes, I am putting them at number 1. Technically, yes, they can still be a dark horse. But Netherlands at number 1 with Van Dijk and De Ligt. No shock. With my honorable mentions, I am going to be putting Spain. I don't know if PK got called up this year, and I don't think Sergio Ramos did. So I don't know what Spain's doing this year. I don't know if they're just trying to prepare their young talent or anything like that, but it doesn't seem like they've taken a whole lot of very solid players. I don't know. It's up in the air with all that good stuff. But Spain with a nice honorable mention at number 6. I feel like that's fair. Nothing too shocking. Next, we're going to these right back, left back, so those wing backs. This I'm very, very excited about because every team's looking pretty solid in this stance. Like, I'm not really too shocked at any of these teams and where they're lining up for their like wings and everything, because a lot of these teams have got absolutely insane wings. But at the number 5 spot, I'm putting France again, just because you got Digne and Pavard. I don't know if anyone else remembers Pavard's hit in the last World Cup. I want to say it was in the group stage. His absolutely insane shot. I remember it because I remember watching the game in real time and just sitting there in just absolute awe of, like, it's one of those shots that has just stuck with me from a defender standpoint. And honestly, it's just one of those where, I mean, I like Pavard, and Digne I really like as well. So, as the two backfield wingers, I feel like that's a very fair. Number 4, I think this one's going to shock a lot of people. But when you look at the other kind of wingers, it kind of makes sense. Number 4, I'm putting Morocco. Yeah, hence what I mean. It could shock a few people. They've got Hakimi, who's arguably one of the best wingers in the world right now. He's fast, he's quick, he can pass, he can defend. He's what you want as a right back. Simple as that. He's just one of those solid ones right now. And then they've got Mazraoui. I never can say this man's name right, and I always feel so bad. But him on the left back, he's not going to be anything special. He's not going to be a name that you're going to be hearing a lot at the World Cup. But for who he is, he's solid as hell, and honestly, I think he is. That's just a number 4. I think they are honestly better than France in that wingback, but it's nothing crazy. Now the next 3, this is where shit gets real. Number 3, and honestly, this could go to number 2. I'm not 100% sure if I would keep them at number 3 looking at this list again, but I'm going to go with it, and it's Portugal at number 3. I'm not going to lie, I think people are failing to realize how built Portugal is this year. I know people are only looking at Ronaldo, but when you look at that team from top to bottom, they've got some of the best players in their individual positions in the world right now. And by that, I mean they've got Cancelo, Mendes, and Guerreiro. I think that's how you say it. Cancelo is, for Man City at the moment, has become an absolute weapon. I don't know if Portugal is going to use him in that same way as, Man City does, with kind of bringing him up as an actual left wing. I don't know if they're going to do that because I don't think they're going to need it. But being able to have that versatility on your back line to give Ronaldo more power and more just freedom is going to be insane. So, at number 3, obviously Portugal is easily there. And then you've also having Mendes and Guerreiro on whatever other side, because we know Cancelo can play on both sides, Mendes can play on both sides. Both of those two in general, solid. That's exactly what I would want on my wingbacks if it was me personally. Got speed, passing, and just versatility. That's what I look for. So, in that back, I think Portugal is fair at number 3. But looking at number 2, I could see them be that step higher, and that is Alaba and Spain. I don't know why I said Alaba, like Alaba is Spain. But Spain. Spain has got obviously one of the best right now in Alaba, Navas, and Carvajal. Honestly, that back line is insane. They've also got speed. The thing with Spain, and the reason I put Spain above Portugal, is because all those players at least have experience. They've all done this before. They know what they're doing. This isn't going to be like a brand new thing to them. They are ready for this World Cup. So, Spain at number 2, I feel like that's fair. And number 1, now I know a lot of people are curious. There's 2 names that I have not mentioned, and either of them could have been in this number 1 spot based off of how you feel. My number 1 is going to be England. It's not coming home this year. I'm sorry, England. But your back wingers, they could do a lot. You've got Walker, easily one of the best right backs in the world right now, and Alexander-Arnold, obviously also one of the best. And you've got Trippier, one of the best. When you look at England's back wingers, easily the most depth, the most talent, and the most drive. I don't think there is a team this year that has a better wingbacks than England. England actually has more, I think, solid wingbacks than they do just straight up defenders. So we might see a lot of these wingers play center back and all that. I don't know how that's going to go. I don't know how England's going to use them. If it was up to me, I would honestly run like a 4 something, like a 4, probably was England, probably like a 4-3-3 or something like that, and then have it so you can have like Walker or Trippier or Alexander-Arnold be able to move up and down the field, because if you can have Walker push that up with you, I mean, you're going to have Sterling, Kane, like you've got players who are going to already be able to be up there. But if you are able to use Walker and being able to deliver those kind of like cross shots, I think it's going to be insanely deadly. And honestly, England's at that number 1 spot. I don't think that's too much of a shock to anyone. My honorable mention, I feel like some people are not going to be too happy with. I did decide to go with Brazil for that, of course. I mean, they've got Dani Alves, Delino, and Alex Rando, Alex Telles. They've got amazing players. Do not get me wrong. I feel like they probably should have actually been on that top 5 list. Maybe they could have gone rid of Morocco, but I kind of wanted to give Morocco some love because Hakimi is amazing. Brazil does have more depth. So, I mean, you could theoretically throw Brazil at that like number 4 or 5 spot, but for this, just to even it all out, I did throw Brazil in the honorable mentions, which is not the worst in the world. Next, we're going to our midfield. This is not going to be like the right midfield or left midfield. This is strictly center midfield, center attacking mid, center defensive mid. Those actual central midfielder positions. Nothing too shocking. But with this one, this arguably has the hardest one to go off of. And looking at this now, because I made this before I realized that some of these players are not actually going to be here, so we might actually change this up a little, because this isn't fully fair in my eyes when I'm looking at this again, just because things got a little bit messy. That's all I'm gonna say. But we'll start, and then maybe we'll kind of adjust it as is. But number 5 spot, this honestly is not a shock. Could go higher, could go lower, but realistically top 5 for me nonetheless. And then it's gonna be Portugal again. They've got Silva, Fernandes, and Neves. Arguably, 2 of those are the best midfielders we have in the Premier League right now. You've got the Man City, you got the Manchester United. That combo being able to come together in the World Cup, going to be orgasmic. I'm so excited to watch this combo play. Honestly, Portugal is going to be one of the most entertaining teams to watch this year, and this is what I mean. Like, when you're looking at it, like, they are a top 5 team in nearly every aspect, but Portugal with Silva, Fernandes, and Neves at number 5, very fair, very versatile, being able to shoot, pass, score, anything. They've got it. Easy. Number 4, I know people are going to think I'm biased again, but I am going Belgium again with this. I mean, De Bruyne's the best center attacking. Like, he is the best center mid in this moment in time. I'm going to say that very confidently. If Holland was on Belgium's team, I don't know how that would happen, but if that happened, De Bruyne and Holland and Hazard and Lukaku would win this World Cup. I would actually say that without a doubt. I think that they could, and to me, they are one of the best teams this year. I know they've gone past their prime, but I still I'm not counting them out by any means. De Bruyne is here to show. I cannot wait to watch this man literally just make the game look easy. And then always having Talisman as his combo, and like that team alone, just those 2 together are so unremarkably talented, and I cannot fucking wait to see what these two do together. Next, we've got Spain and Rodri, Thiago, Busquets, and Pedri. Spain knows what they're doing. They've got the midfield. They don't have any crazy attacking midfield, which I feel like could hurt them because I don't think they're bringing Isco up this year, and I think they're missing another player who I thought they should have. But with that, Spain at number 3, I feel like is pretty fair. They're not going to be any stars. They're not going to be anything terrible, though. They're right in the middle, but obviously they are a top 5. If all these players show up, I'm not 100% sure. Next, and this is the one that I was talking about, is France. I had France at number 2 because you've got Pogba, Kante, Fenneker. You've got a solid midfield. But hearing that Pogba and Kante are not getting called up this year could change a lot for this midfield. I don't think they are going to be in that top 5 conversation just because of those two players. I mean, arguably, Pogba is one of the most creative players we've seen in a while, and Kante is one of the most consistent players we've seen in forever. So the fact that neither of them are going to be there is really going to hurt France in my head. So, hence, at the moment, we're going to put them at 2, but after we go over our honorable mentions, we might switch those up and down, give or take. But, number 1, this is not a shock. This shouldn't be a shock to anyone. And no, it's not Brazil. It's Germany. Germany has the most in-depth midfield out of anyone. No one is going to hold a bar to Germany's midfield right now. I mean, when you look at it, you've got Kimmich, Muller, Kroos, Rios, Havertz, Goretzka. 3 of those alone would put them in the top 3 anyways. Like, if you told me that Muller, Kroos, and Rios weren't going to show up, I'd still put them in a top 5 category because Kimmich is making the Bundesliga look easy. Havertz, insane. Goretzka, one of the best midfielders at this moment in time. And then being able to add the legend Muller himself, his final World Cup, I want him to do so good this year because I want him to get his glory. Muller gets overlooked, and I don't understand why. Honestly, Muller to me is the Tim Duncan of the football world. He's just consistent. He's exactly what you want in a player. But Muller and then Kroos, obviously one of the best midfielders in the La Liga, I would say, probably top 3. And then having the other legend in Royce. Germany is not a team you're going to want. I don't see a whole lot of teams even getting past Germany's midfield. That's how deadly this is. And a lot of them go like both ways. Not all of them are just center defensive mids. Not all of them are center attacking mids. Not like they all can do all of it because that's how Germany players are. And Germany's midfield is just going to be the most terrifying thing that any team has seen this year. Simple as that. Honorable mentions though, obviously Brazil has to be on there. I mean, when you look at Brazil's team, for midfielders, they've got Bruno, Casemiro, Fabio, Fred, and Paqueta. All absolutely insane players. So when you look at those compared to France, honestly, I would put them above them. I mean, just regardless on that. My other 2 ones are England and Croatia. I'm looking up England's really quick because I want to double check to see what their midfield is looking like at this moment in time. Let's see here, because I remember I was looking at it, but with all the different changes and whatnot, I'd rather just go over it again. So they've got Bellingham, obviously one of the next big upstarts. He is literally right there between Haaland and Mbappe. He's not getting the glory, but I think with this World Cup, he's really going to step up. He is still a little young, so, he's going to need some time. Then we've got Henderson, kind of a vet, kind of been there. He knows what he's doing. He's done this before. He's going to be insane. He's just going to be that solid player that England needs there. Then Mason Mount, one of the best. I mean, he's one of the best Chelsea players, I would say, right now. Simple as that. Calvin Phillips, Declan Rice, James Maddison. Oh, wait, James Madison's a striker. My bad. But, I mean, when you look at Rice, Mount, Henderson, Bellingham, Phillips, like, when you look at that, they've got Gallagher as well. I don't see much coming from him, if I'm being honest. He's just kind of too young and not doing a whole lot for me. But the rest of those, I honestly would even put those above France. And then the last one I had was Croatia. I am curious what Croatia's World Cup team is looking like right now, or their midfield, because I remember when I was first doing this and I looked at Croatia's midfield with having Modric, Persic. There was one more. Let me see. Pretty much, there's a lot that this team also has. They probably have one of the most, like, as far as midfields, just solid overall. Yeah, they've got Modric, Kovacic, Brozovic, Pulasevic, Vlasic, and that's about it, if I'm being honest. They have a few other ones. Jakic. Those, honestly, those players alone are going to be insane this year. I think they're all going to be really good. I think they, honestly, that, once again, I would say is better than France. So, if I had to make a new one, I would say Germany at number 1, Spain at number 2, Belgium at number 3, Portugal at number 4, and honestly, I honestly want to put Croatia at number 5. I think Croatia, as far as across the board, has got the talent, the experience, and the ability to go further than, I would say, England or Brazil's midfield, because Brazil's more focused on their strike force, England's more focused on their kind of wingers, not as more on their actual midfield players. So, with that, I'm going to put them at Croatia at number 5, England and Brazil, and France at the honorable mentions, which I don't think is too far to say. Next, though, we have got our left wing / left mids. This one is a pretty solid across the board. I think everyone's going to kind of know what number 1 is going to be, just because there's no real shock there, but we're going to go through them anyways. Number 5, we've got Germany once again making the board. I mean, they've got Sané. Leroy Sané. Anyone remember how fucking insane he is? I know since he hasn't been in the World Cup, his name kind of got lost in the Bundesliga, but he's still there. He's still insane. He's still quick. He's still versatile. He's going to be a problem this year. I don't think people are realizing that. But, you know, Germany also is just stacked. Simple as that. With just players. So on that left wing, left mid, Sané, insane. Number 4, I've got England at number 4 in Sterling. I mean, he's getting older, but he has the experience. He's done this before. He's got the power. He's got the speed. He's got the chemistry. Sterling is, honestly, he's one of my favorite players because he played for Man City for so fucking long, and he became one of my favorite players. So seeing him go to Chelsea, low-key kind of hurt, but, I mean, I'm happy for him regardless. Sterling at number 4 for England, not too much of a shock. Then, at number 3, also not going to be a shock to really anyone, and that's going to be Argentina with Di Maria. Di Maria, once again, he's getting kind of up there in age, but he is still easily one of the best wingers in the world right now. He's nothing insane, but when you look at Argentina's strike force and you have that versatility on the left wing with Di Maria, he's not going to be someone that people are going to have to, like, I wouldn't say he's not going to be the main attention, and I think that could do them a lot of help. Because I think everyone's going to be so focused on Messi that they're not going to realize that on the other side, you also do have an absolutely insane player. So Di Maria at number 3, I don't think is a shock to anyone. At number 2, once again, the boys, they're back. Belgium, number 2. Hazard, honestly, still one of the greats. like I said, he's been here before, and so is Carrasco. They've been here before. They know what they're doing. They know what they need to get done this year. I think this is kind of like a last shot for them as well. They had last World Cup. If I'm being 100% honest, they should have won last World Cup. If they would have beat France, they would have destroyed the finals. They got third so comfortable, it was actually like depressing. Like they could have gone, if they would have gone, if there was a way for number 3 to be able to play the 1 or 2 again, I think Belgium would have won that World Cup without a doubt. I think they just had a bad game against France, but I don't think that's going to really affect them as much this year. So Belgium with Hazard and Carrasco, I think is number 2. I don't think that is a shock to literally anyone. Hazard's going to have a great year. Carrasco's going to have an amazing year. I actually was, you know what, I'll say that at the end. But Belgium is going to be insane, so I'm excited for them at number 2 with the left wing, left mid. No shocker there. Number 1, this is the one that no one should be even slightly shocked at. No one should even, like, be surprised at me saying this, but Brazil at number 1. I mean, on the left side, if they decide to, Neymar could go out there, or Vinicius Jr., 2 of the most terrifying players in the world right now. I think Neymar is really starting to become that leader that they needed instead of just being the show pony. Because, let's be honest, Neymar has been the best Brazil player for a long time now. But he has kind of been more of a show pony. He's been there to, you know, kind of grab the attention, but not necessarily be a leader. Whereas I feel this year he knows that his time's, you know, kind of running out. He doesn't know if he's going to have more World Cups. He'll probably maybe have one more if he's lucky. We'll kind of just have to wait and see. But this could be theoretically Neymar's last big show. So with that, I think Neymar is more turning into a leader that he needs to, because all the guys around him are kind of young. They know what they're doing. He's got the experience of being here. He is ready for this World Cup. And with Vinicius, he is new. So Neymar is going to kind of have to make sure that, like, as much as a captain he is going to have to coach him up and be like, bro, you can do this. We've got this. We are solid this year. And I think they're going to go very far. Brazil is honestly one of the most terrifying teams this year in general. So with having that as their 2 left wing, left mids, not much more to say. And then my honorable mention, I do have Spain. I had them here, but I'm gonna double check their team because now I don't know. I feel like with having so many of this stuff kind of changing last minute, it feels like a lot of these teams are changing last minute. But I am gonna see really quick. Okay. Forwards. Okay. Yeah, they've got Marco Asensio and Ansu Fati. I mean, both of those realistically are on the right side, but I feel like it is still fair to put them in the honorable mention category. They obviously didn't make it just because the rest of them are just that much better in my eyes. But we keep going on the right mid, right wing field. Honestly, I didn't have any honorable mentions. The right side is all these players are either make or break. Simple as that. They're really, when it came to the right wing side, it didn't seem like a whole lot of teams really had an actual right-wing side. It was more they just kind of called their strikers to the right side, and they were like, that's a right-winger. And I don't really agree with that because I'd rather them be actually saved for their strike units. So let's get into this. This one I feel like is pretty easy across the board. Number 5, once again, they're back. Germany, number 5. No shock there. They've got Gnabry. Once again, Germany's just stacked across the entire fucking board. So with that, it does not shock me too much. And putting Germany and Gnabry at number 5. Number 4, honestly, thinking about this now, I think I want to actually put Germany at number 4 and put Spain at number 5 because in my eyes, I would say Marcus Asensio is actually worse than Gnabry. That's just me personally. But for the sake of it, I already have it here, so we'll just put Spain at number 4 with Marcus Asensio and Fatih. But like I said, Fatih's kind of on. It's gonna have to play that left side, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But we'll keep them there for their own sake, anyways. Number 3. This one is not a shock to anyone. France and Coman and Dembele. I mean, Dembele is one of the most versatile, scary players that we've seen in a long time. He's getting quicker, it feels like, by the year. It feels like his dribbling's getting better by the year. His shot is kind of going up and down. His passing's insane. He's just one of those players. I'm excited to see him play this year. I think he's just going to be another dark horse that France can literally just be like 70th minute and just be like, hey, Dembele, go give him hell. And he will, because he has the speed, the versatility, and the aggression to do that shit. So, and then being able to have Coman behind him and being able to have him as backup, absolutely ridiculous. I'm excited for that nonetheless. So France at number 3, not too shocking. Number 2, to me this isn't a shock, and that is England. England has an insane wings this year. They've got Foden, Sancho, and Grealish on their right side. Obviously, Foden and Grealish can play both sides. Man City has made them very good at being able to play both because, I mean, that's realistically what you're going to need to do. You're going to need to learn to play multiple different things. Sorry. With that, I think Foden will probably be more that starting spot. They might start Grealish over Sancho, but I don't really see that happening. Foden should be in that starting lineup for me. Foden is honestly one of the best English players we've seen this year. And I think he's just going to be an overall weapon. I don't think a whole lot of the spotlight is going to be on him. And once again, I think that's going to be a real issue. I think he might be one of those where people are going to be so focused on Sterling and Kane that they're going to forget what an animal Foden really is, and Sancho as well. Grealish is going to be an amazing player, but I don't know how much he's really going to contribute. But that's just me personally. Number 1, no shock here, Argentina and Messi. I mean, it's Messi. Do I need to say anything? He's the GOAT. He's not my GOAT, but he is the GOAT, I will say. And once again, we know this is his last hurrah. I'm pretty sure he did announce that this is his final World Cup. And in that, I mean, Argentina also have all these weapons. This is the year where I don't want to hear an excuse from anyone from the Messi or the Ronaldo fanboy side, because both of them have teams this year. Neither of them are carrying their teams this year. They've both got weapons through and through. And honestly, I don't want to hear it. Because, every World Cup, every national tournament, we always hear the whole story of Messi could have done it if he had a team. Ronaldo could have done it if he had a team. Both of them have a team this year. In literally every position, they both have players. So I just don't want to hear it this year from fucking anyone. So with that, Argentina at number 1, right wing, right mid. I mean, it's Messi. He's the GOAT. So kind of have to. And then we're going into our final category, and this is the striker / center forward position. This one is so hard to me. I'm honestly, for this, we're going through honorable mentions, and then we're going to top 5 because this is one of those ones where I genuinely did not know how to fucking do this. So, we're going with honorable mentions. We're going to start with Spain. With Spain's, their strike force at this moment in time, if I can find it because I literally just had it and I lost it. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm sorry for that. My phone just had a stroke. I'm going to see if I can just look it up really quick. Spain World Cup squad. Okay. Here we go. Spain. Okay. For their forwards, they've got Morta, Ferran Torres, Sarabani, Nicola Williams, and Pino. All of them absolutely insane. But realistically, they are probably one of the lower when it comes to the higher up strikers on all of these, because at this moment I have in my honorable mentions I have 4. Spain to me is the lowest of that 4. Next, this is hard. This is very hard to me. I'm honestly that would have been 9. So the 8th spot, I am going to go with Poland. No, I can't. I can't do that. I'm going to go Netherlands. Netherlands, I'm going to say is that... Wait, what squad is this? That's Croatia. Give me 1 second. Netherlands World Cup squad. It's just, I had all this together, and then once everything changed in the past, 3 days, things have been very up and down for me trying to get all this shit to make sure it works. But with their strikers, I mean, we've got Depay, Bergwijn, De Jong, which I honestly thought he was more of a midfielder. Oh, there's 2 De Jong, my bad. And Gakpo. They've got insane weapons. They're going to be good this year. But I am going to put them slightly lower or slightly higher than Spain at that number kind of 8 spot. Next, I think Poland is now fair to say. When you're looking at it as just a strike force, Lewandowski, this arguably could even be his final World Cup, which I really don't want to say because he's one of my favorite players and I really don't want him to leave. But Robert Lewandowski, this is probably going to be his last year. We've got Milik and Piatek. They're solid, but since they have Robert Lewandowski, I am going to put them above Netherlands in that sense because I feel like that's fair. When you have Lewandowski on the field, he is just a weapon. Whether he's scoring, assisting, or just being on the field as a presence, he is insane. So with that, I'm going to put Germany at that number 7 spot. Or no, Poland at that number 7 spot. Next is number 6 with Germany, and I want to see who they actually have categories as their strike force, because a lot of their midfielders are just strikers in general. Like I was saying, Sané is a striker on here. Muller's technically a striker on here. Gnabry's a striker on here. A lot of their players are just kind of midfield strikers. But actually, since this does have a lot of that at striker, like Mane we've already said, Sané we've already said, Gnabry we've already said, Muller I'm putting in the midfield. So we're actually going to put, did they not? I don't think they brought up, they didn't bring up, what's his name? I'll be damned. Werner. I don't see, is Werner injured? Okay. I don't see Werner on here at all. Okay. Well, Werner was one of the main reasons why I had them at that. So we're going to drop Germany to that number 9 spot. We're going to put Spain at 8, Netherlands at number 7, and Poland at number 6. I feel like that's fair. Now we can get into our top 5. And number 5, this I don't think is a shock to anyone. And with the strike forces, these are where everything matters in a lot of these teams. This is where a lot of these teams are literally just praying and hoping that their players are going to stay healthy, strong, and aggressive. Number 5, I have Belgium. The boys are back. You've got Lukaku and Mertens. I'm not sure. I think Mertens got called up, but I'm not 100% sure. They also do have the new guy. Let me look because I want to remember his name. World Cup squad. Because Lukaku is honestly, he's going to be insane this year. I'm so excited with this. Honestly, once again, could be his last year. So with that, I think he is going to be insane. Mertens, once again, so he did get called up. I'm very excited about that. We also have Batshuayi, Batanashi. And then we've also got Doku. All of these players are solid. None of them are insane. I will say that. No one needs to remind me of that. They are not insane by any means. But Lukaku and Mertens are arguably, based off of the last World Cup in my head, are two of the most terrifying strikers. And with the formation that Belgium uses, as in a 3-5-2-1, 3-5-8-9. Yeah, 3-5-2-1 is insane. Once again, I'll go into that after all this because I really want to talk about it, but I didn't. But Lukaku and Mertens at number 5, I feel like is a fair spot just because everything above them is actually better in my eyes. Everything under them is just a lot worse. But number 4 spot, we've got Portugal. You've got Ronaldo, the GOAT. My boy, that's my GOAT. I will say I'm not a Ronaldo fanboy, but I am more of a Ronaldo fan than I am of a Messi fan, just because I actually have gotten more chances to watch like Ronaldo play on TV than I was able to ever watch Messi. So, I want to see who technically also is in Portugal's actual strike force, because in my head, I just had Ronaldo and João Felix. João Felix, I don't know how much minutes he's really going to get, just because when you're looking at Portugal's team, I don't know how they're really going to fit him into the team necessarily, but I don't think that that's really going to stop anything. But let me see what they've got. So yeah, they've got Ronaldo, João Felix, Silva's okay, Leon is okay, Horta, Ramos, like, it is mainly Ronaldo and Felix, and in my head, when I was doing it by twos, I could not physically put Ronaldo and Felix under Lukaku and Mertens, and that is coming from a Belgium fan, so hence Portugal at number 4. Honestly, I'm thinking they could have gone at number 3. Looking at this again, I think they might be at the number 3 spot, because at number 3, I do have Brazil, but I have Jesus and Rafinha. And when you're looking at it that way, I honestly would rather say that the Brazil strike force is arguably more terrifying. I am curious on who the actual strikers are and not necessarily wingers, because that's kind of what I decided to group this in, because if you do it as strikers, obviously you could easily put Neymar or Vinicius, and at that point then it's kind of up in the air. But according to this, Antony, Rodrigo, Rafinha, Richarlison, Pedro, and Gabriel Jesus, when you're looking at it that way, they honestly just have a lot more depth than Portugal does. So honestly, I'm more than fine with actually keeping Brazil at that number 3 spot. Then we've got the number 2 spot. This I don't think should be a shock. There might be a few people who are going to kind of question me and be like, maybe I said they're a little high, but I am going to put Kane and England at that number 2 spot. I mean, honestly, when you have Kane and Wilson, they didn't bring Vardy up this year? Oh my god. They didn't bring up Vardy this year. They also brought up Saka, Rashford, so I mean, when you're looking at it that way, that's fair. But when I was thinking this, when I thought of Harry Kane, Vardy, and Wilson, that to me is a better strike force than a lot of the teams I've had, strictly just because they all work together in general, and England is really good at using that strike force as a team. So I'm going to keep it as Kane and Wilson. I'm going to keep them at that number 2 spot. Maybe. We might have to move. Strike force is going to have to move around. We're going to go through that actually again. And then number 1, no shock here. We've got France. I mean, Mbappe, one of the current youngest, greatest players at this moment in time. And then you've got the 2022 Ballon d'Or winner in Benzema. And then Griezmann, arguably one of the best strikers we've seen in a long time. They also do have Giroud, which I'm so glad they ended up bringing him back because he's just so fun for me to watch. I don't know why. And Nakunku. Nakunku. I feel like I butchered that. I'm so sorry. But with that number 1 spot, I feel like they have easily set the tone. There's not another team this year that has a strike force like that, if we're being 100% honest. So France at number 1 I feel like is fair. I'm actually going to mess with this a little bit right now. I'm going France at number 1. I'm going to put Brazil at number 2. England at number... Wait. Brazil is going to go to number 2. Portugal is going to go to number 3. And then England is going to move to number 4. Belgium's going to stay at 5 because Lukaku and Mertens are older. And I think Kane and Wilson are going to be kind of more of a threat. But those could honestly go back and forth. England could literally be anywhere from 2 to 5. And Belgium could be anywhere from 5 to 3. Like, when it comes to strike force, it is literally France is number 1 and everyone else is in that, like, 2 to 6 spot. Like, all these other teams that I've kind of listed can go anywhere throughout there, in my eyes. I know Argentina is not on there, which I think a lot of people are going to be a little angry about. But when I was looking at it and I was just looking at their team, it's really hard for me to want to actually put Argentina there. I mean, let me go back and I'm trying to make sure that I get like it all kind of more laid out because yes, they've got Dybala. Yes, they've got Dybala. Why can't I think of? There's the other one. What was the other one that I cannot think of? Dybala and Martinez. That's who it was. Sorry about that. They've also got Cora, but he's kind of more of a midfielder in my eyes. But like I said, they've got Di Maria and Messi on their wings, so I don't think that Dybala really has that authority to be put in that more honorable mention when it comes to a strike force. But that's just me. But that's pretty much everything. Now, I want to go through, and I'm going to go from number 10 to number 1, the best teams this year in my eyes. At number 10, I've got Netherlands. Netherlands, I don't think it's too much of a shock to be put at the number 10 spot. They're not going to be an insane competition this year, but they are going to be there nonetheless. Netherlands with Van Dijk, De Ligt, De Jong, Depay. I tried to pick like 4 of the stars for each of these, so when I go through these, if you don't hear a name, it's not like I missed them by any means. I just kind of was going through this, and it was what I thought of. But now looking at this, I'm probably going to have to change these because looking at it, not all these players got called up again. So these all could change throughout the course of me talking about it. Number 9, I know I'm going to get crucified for this, but as far as an overall team, not how this, and the guys, just so everyone knows, this is not what I think is going to be like 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, all the way to 10th. This is me personally, overall as a team, how I would put them. So as I said, number 10, Netherlands. I feel like that's fair. Number 9, this is where I think I'm going to get crucified, and I'm going to put Argentina. I know, calm down. I know a lot of people are going to be angry about that. But when you look at Argentina as a whole, not just their strikers, as a whole, Argentina are not the best. They've got a lot of weapons, like I said, from top to bottom. They've got a lot of very good weapons. But Argentina, I got to put it number 9 with Messi, Di Maria, Dybala, and Acuna, because Acuna literally was all I could think of. They really... I mean, I'm trying not to be, like, too mean about these. I really don't think that I'm, like, being overcritical to any of these teams. I feel like everything I'm saying is pretty fair. I I mean, I'm even looking at all these teams again as I'm looking at them, just because I want to make sure that I'm not like just spewing bullshit when I'm saying these. Number 9, I have Argentina. Number 8, which I think people could be a little triggered that I put them above Argentina, and that is Croatia. I mean, when you're looking at Croatia as an actual team across the board, they're nothing insane. Like, this team is not going to be a team that we're going to hear anything crazy about. I mean, from top to bottom, we've got solid players around. In Croatia, the reason I put them at number 8 is because strictly their midfield. I mean, when you've got Modric, Brozovic, Persic, and Kovacic, you've got solid players. They are more of a midfield team, and I think that's going to be a very helpful situation for them. So overall, I did think that they would be better than Argentina, and I am sorry for the people who would say different. Number 7. Looking at this, I'm hoping that I can still agree with this, and I did put Spain. I put Rodri, Pedri, Alba, and Laporte. I mean, I feel like that's a solid team overall. Spain isn't anything crazy this year. They're not like Croatia, or like they are better than Croatia, Argentina, and Netherlands as an actual team. I would say they are. They don't have the stars, but it is Spain, so you gotta always remember that they are a team you don't want to fuck with no matter what. And with that, I feel like Spain is a kind of fair spot with 7. Number 6, I don't think this is too much of a shock, and I honestly would love to put them higher, but when you look at the teams that are above them, they just physically can't be, and that is England at number 6. Like I said, England, if England does not choke, they do have the potential to be a top 4 team. I really do believe that. If they do not choke, if everyone knows what they're doing, this team could be insane. I mean, with their top 4 players that I put, I have Kane, Sterling, Foden, and Walker. I mean, when you look at those 4 players, they are insane. They've got good players. They've got everything through and through. Overall, as a team, they are very good. So, England number 6, I don't think is too much to ask for, and I don't think is too much of a shock. At number 5, I've got the team that honestly, as an overall team, could be higher, but I feel fair with putting them where they are, and that is Portugal. Portugal at number 5, I don't think is too much of a shock. I mean, Ronaldo, they've got one of the greatest strikers in the world. They've got Fernandes and Silva in their midfield as one of the best midfielders in the world. And then they've got Cancelo in their defense. And, I mean, they've also got Diaz. Not too shocking, I don't think. To me, I think that's very fair. Don't think that's too crazy. Number 4, I did think Werner was going to be on this list, but I don't think that it honestly degrades them at all, because I can just trade Werner for Muller. So, number 4 for Germany, we've got Muller, Kimmich, Rudiger, and Neuer. And I literally just went one for each position for that, because when you're looking at that team as a overall as a whole, they could be the best team this year. Like, if you look at them from top to bottom on their bench, starting lineup, and reserves, they could be the best team this year. I feel like I might actually be stiffing Germany, because as an overall team, they might be better than the other teams that I have on here. Germany, we'll see. Once we go through them all, we'll go through. We might re-rank it all. Number 3, I have France. I mean, they've got the best strike force of the year. They've also got Varane and Lloris. I mean, Mbappe, Benzema, Varane, Lloris. Insane. Being able to say that you have one of the top 5 goalkeepers says a lot more than people will realize this year, and I think that that's kind of fair. So France at number 3, not too much of a shock. Number 2, I did put the boys just because I know overall they do not have the greatest team, but overall they have the most condensed team. With De Bruyne, Hazard, Lukaku, and Courtois, there's just those weapons were the same that helped them get so far in the last World Cup, and it doesn't seem like they've slowed down quite yet. After this World Cup, they're done. They're not going to do much. So this is their last hurrah, and that's why I want to put Belgium overall at number 2. I know that's a lot. I know that's a lot. That might just be my personal bias, so, kind of take that into account. And then number 1, no shock here in Brazil. Brazil is the best team across the board this year when it comes to starting, backfield, like across the entire spectrum. Brazil's number 1. There's the reason that they are projected to win the whole thing. So, Brazil at number 1, not too much of a shock. But I want to see if I can just slightly adjust these because talking through it, things need to be changed. Number 1, Brazil can keep their number 1 spot. Belgium, you're going to have to get dropped. Germany is overall, from top to bottom, the second best team overall as a whole. So, number 1, Brazil. Germany, you get number 2. Belgium, I will give you number 3. No, I can't. I can't do that. I can't give Belgium number 3. I'm gonna give Portugal number 3, actually. I think that's fair. With the top to bottom starting squad, at least, Portugal will be better. So I'm going to give Portugal the number 3 spot. I am going to give Belgium the number 4 spot. I'm going to give France the number 5 spot. No. Wait. Let me redo these because I want to have this laid out so I can see. So Brazil, you get number 1. Number 2, I'm giving that to Germany. Number 3, I'm giving that to Portugal. Number 4, I'm going to give that to Belgium. Number 5, I'm actually going to give that to England. I think England deserves that. At number 6, I'm going to give that to France. Honestly, at number 7, I'm going to give that to Argentina. At number 8, honestly, Netherlands, I'm going to give Netherlands number 8. At number 9, I'm going to give that to Spain. I'm going to give that to Spain. And number 10, I'm going to give that to Croatia. I feel like that's not a bad list. Brazil 1, Germany 2, Portugal 3, Belgium 4, England 5, France 6, 7 Argentina, 8 Netherlands, 9 Spain, 10 Croatia as a overall team. I know some people are going to be like, this could go higher, this could go lower, but when you're looking at it as an overall team, I feel like that's fair. We're gonna go through all of this really quick, just to kind of have it out there. That way everyone can kind of go through everything, and just that way we can, I feel like it's fair. But for each of these, I'm actually only gonna go through the top 3 because I feel like that's more fair. Goalkeeper: Brazil, Belgium, Germany. I feel like that's fair because Brazil's number 1, Germany's number 2, Belgium number 4. When it comes to goalkeepers, that is a big thing that I think people need to realize. Center back duos. We've got Netherlands, Brazil, Germany. Honestly, I don't think there's much more to complain about there. Netherlands at that number 8 spot, Brazil at that number 1 spot again, and Germany at that number 2. Once again, very fair. Kind of actually matches up with their goalkeepers rather well. Then we've got right and left backs, so those wing backs. We've got England. And then I think I moved Portugal up to 2, and then Brazil was number 3, which honestly also would make a lot of sense. England at that number 5 spot, I mean, that's where they really are strong. Portugal at that number Portugal with number 2 being at that number 3 spot, not too much of a shock there. And then Brazil at that number 3 spot being in first place, not too much of a shock there. Then midfield, This is the one that got really moved around. Germany, I'm keeping at that number 1 spot just because, I mean, Germany has the most in-depth midfield across the board. So them with number 2, I feel like is very fair. With the number 2, or them at the number 2 spot. Number 2 for midfielders, I'm going to give it to Portugal still. I feel like that's very fair, with Portugal actually even being top 3 anyways. That makes a whole lot of sense. And then Belgium at that number 3 spot, being able to also be number 4 on the thing. Not too much of a shock. Then we've got that left side as Brazil, Belgium, and Argentina. Very fair across the board there. I mean, Neymar and Vinicius are the 2 best. Being able to give them number 1, with Brazil being number 1 spot. Hazard and Carrasco being the number 2, being able to get that 4 spot. And Argentina with Di Maria being able to be top 7 or top 10 in the 7th spot. Very fair. Then we go on to the right side with Argentina, England, and France as the top. Argentina obviously makes sense. England with the top 5 makes sense. And France in the top 6 I feel like is very fair. And that makes sense in my head. And then the strike force, obviously France being the number 1 just because of their depth. So I feel like it is still fair to kind of keep them in that 6th spot. And then I remember I moved Portugal up. I moved Portugal up because of Ronaldo and Felix as that. No. Brazil was number 2 because of their depth. That's what it was. Brazil moved to number 2 because of their depth, which would also make sense since they are number 1. And then Portugal taking that number 3, also being in that top 3, makes overall a lot of sense. So, from start to finish, I've got everything laid out. I hope you guys are just as excited for the World Cup. If you guys have any predictions or any of that on all this, please let me know, and your guys' personal thoughts on the World Cup, because I'm excited for this year, and it's just going to be a great year nonetheless. But the final thing I wanted to say, and this is just for personal glory because that is just how I am, I have been playing FIFA 23 because obviously FIFA 23 just released their World Cup game mode, and all I want to say is that to all the people who play Brazil, and I've kicked your ass over the past couple days, get fucked. Get fucked, because they're not that good. Anyone who plays Brazil in that World Cup game mode is a fucking newbie, and you are a loser. That's all I'm going to say, because I have played that entire game mode. I've already won the World Cup 1 time, and I've only played it 2 different times, and Belgium was the team that I did it with, and I stomped the fuck out of every Brazil team. I played someone who was Mexico. They did really good. Honors to you for actually picking a different team. But I do want to try to just like go through and win it with like almost every team. Like all the teams that aren't like Brazil. Like I want to do it with I want to do it with all the teams just to make people feel so bad about picking Brazil and losing. But that was just me personally. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's podcast. I talked a lot this episode. So I wouldn't doubt it if my voice is going to be dead. I bet it's already like kind of lowered in this entire process. But thank you guys for coming to this week's Basement Vibes podcast. If you guys are excited for the World Cup, please let me know. Let me know what your team is. Let me know your top 10. Tweet it to me or anything like that. Or maybe we'll do a tier list of something like that, and we'll kind of put them all on the list. I mean, given I pretty much did that with this, but maybe we'll do one just for the fuck of it. So yeah, you guys, if you guys are excited to see more World Cup kind of soccer content in the future, feel free to let me know, because I am so excited for all of it. And if you guys want to check out more from the Basement Vibes podcast, you guys can check it out on Spotify and on YouTube at the Basement Vibes podcast. The new upload date for these will be Monday morning at 8 a.m. so you can start your week bright and early with some Basement Vibes. Have a good time. Have some amazing conversations. If you guys want to check out more from me, you guys can check out the Van Stores channel. I upload every Sunday and Wednesday with new fun ideas with friends, family, or video games. And that's about it. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll see you guys next one. Peace, bye, and boom.